What's up, peeps? Welcome back to Cactus DIY. I'm Jen, and this is my home for faux finishing, decorative painting, and in today's video, I'm taking these 5 thrift pieces and I'm creating some cohesive office accessories for Mister CCDIY. So, if you like thrift flips, faux wood techniques, and personalized gifts, then keep watching because I'm getting started right now. I gathered from my thrift stash just the few things for my husband's office and added up the total. The first piece is a caddy and it was $3.31. This is meant for pencils, pens, etc. The second one, it's a decoupage tray. There was no price tag, but my receipt says $2.24. He also requested an inbox and outbox, so I grabbed this 3-pack for $1.99, and the third one of these will likely be redonated. The last thing I'm making over for the Mister's office is this other caddy type thing. This one is a phone holder. He has 2 phones, his personal and a work cell, and he wanted something to hold both. This will do all that and more for the low price of $2.99, you know, plus a little time and some wood filler. I also snagged a bag of wood shaped like fruit for $4.32. There are 6 of these in total, and they all just need a clean and a stain refresh. All told, I spent $14.85 before tax. Like everything I get from a thrift store, I started by removing all the price stickers. Plus, these trays had been held together with packing tape, and that took me quite a while to remove in full. Alright, now I will disinfect. Using disinfecting wipes, I cleaned everything, starting with the tray, caddy, inboxes, and phone holder. After cleaning, I wiped any residue with a clean, wet rag. Then I had to deal with the decoupage and the wood pieces. I tried scraping right away after rinsing down and soaking, but that glue was thick. I worked on it for a while and thought I'd finish up off camera, so I left this in favor of the phone holder. I think this phone caddy was one of those company promos or something. It was in terrific shape other than the engraved name on the back piece. Yeah, it turns out the name I covered up is the company name of the company who produces these. Probably should have looked it up in advance, but I discovered them on eBay, Amazon, a few other places, and this is worth about like $35, so not too bad. Not anymore, now that I covered up the company name. DAP plastic wood to the rescue, and that will be removed. I left this to dry for a few hours, and I started on the inboxes. I'm using this country chic clear bonding primer on the plastic trays. Full disclosure, I don't expect this finish to last forever. I hope to get through the winter until I can get back in the workshop to spray paint them in the spring. But honestly, this stuff is pretty strong, so I might just be surprised at how well it does actually adhere. I also coated the caddy inside and out with this clear bonding primer. This needs to cure for 12 full hours, so I left it all to dry overnight. The next day, I sanded the wood fill. I didn't want anything proud of the surface, so I used a 150 grit to smooth. I removed dust with a vac and a dry rag. Then I tried sanding the tray. That got me nowhere fast, so I actually wet down some rags, placed them inside, laid out flat, and I left that tray with rags to soak for about 10 minutes. A quick test after 10 minutes proved I had a long while still to wait. While I was waiting, it was time to get painting some other stuff. I'm using this chalkboard paint in jet black on this caddy. You all know this paint is my favorite. In fact, the gals over at the Flippin' Bunch gave me and my black paint a shout out back in December. They reviewed the Twice as Nice Challenge participants during their live, and they were kind enough to feature my dressers before and after. That was so sweet of you ladies. Thank you so much. I will link to their channel at the end of this video, so make sure to go check them out and subscribe. They are full of fun and fantastic info every Wednesday night. While my brush was still coated, I taped off for the horizontal stripe that I planned for the phone holder. That will hide all traces of that old company and give it a little masculine flair. I tried more scraping on the tray much later. It still barely budged, even with soaking rags and peeling and anything that I seemed to throw at this thing. I resigned to the fact that I would need to sand off as much as possible and be cool with whatever the outcome was. I did all of that off camera, then I moved back over to the phone holder. The second coat of black went on here with no issues, nothing pulled back, nothing wiped off or looked weird, and I wanted a crisp edge, so I pulled my tape right away. At least I tried to pull my tape immediately. I wrestled with this tape for a minute, but when it finally released, I realized entire areas were actually paint-free. I did some touch-ups, wrestled, and so on for a few more minutes, and then I left it for the night. Coat 2 of black went on the pencil caddy everywhere but the rectangular shaped areas that are on the outside. I have a special plan for that, and it's coming up in just a minute, so stick with me. Before that though, I got the first coat of green on the tray. This is the same color and paint that I used on the Mister's printer stand. I did the second coat a few hours later off camera, and this dried overnight, and this also wiped out this green, so it was like perfect amount. I was excited. Wow, this thing. Okay, that's not working out. I'm gonna just get some scissors. I started with scissors, but my hands just weren't steady enough, so I ended up using my X-Acto blade and a cutting mat. With a metal ruler, I got as close to the right size as possible. The funny thing here is this is all a giant waste of time because, well, just keep watching to see that debauchery unfold. At this point in the video, however, I didn't know what I didn't know, so I just kept plodding along. hit play on the flippin' bunch, grabbed my Mod Podge and water spray bottle, and, well, here we go. To add insult to injury, I also added coat 1 of a deep navy blue to the inboxes. I left all this to dry and then, Yeah, that thumbs down. I was going to stop, but I decided to just put a solid coat on everything. It's really a thin coat. The paint itself is pretty thin. It's not terrible, and it did dry down okay, so I'm just going to see how this looks with the second coat. If it scratches off and it's a mess, then I guess we'll do something else with this. Maybe I'll spray paint them in the spring when I'd be able to actually get out into my garage. This isn't the worst thing, though, that I have going on right now. That award goes to this adorable piece where I printed on regular printer paper, and all of these pictures now look like we are stained glass or in frosted glass or something really bad. It's even worse in life. It actually looks better on film. So I took things into my own hands, and I did this. I think this is better. I'm going to attach these with double-sided sticky tape, but I'm going to do that in the morning once this is all fully dry, because I did come in with some black paint everywhere that got Mod Podged, so all along this front edge, up the sides, and along the top. This has to dry overnight, and then I can put on pictures that will actually look good. The next day, I was able to add a thick coat of dead flat varnish to the entire caddy, inside and out. And yes, that includes going right over those photos that I decoupaged. I'm actually using them as the base for my better pictures, so I need them secured really well to the surface. That dried for a few hours before I could finish up by adding the new photos. For the tray, I wanted to match Mister CCDIY's printer stand because that's the area of the room it's going to be located in. So I used this walnut shade wood tint to give a one-process faux finish. This stuff dries fairly quickly, and I managed to do both coats basically one after the other. I switched to a larger brush for coat 2, and I got much better graining marks out of my floppy purdy. This also had to dry, so I got the last coat of navy blue on the inboxes. It seemed to adhere okay, but I'm not trying the scratch test to prove that the bonding primer works, let's just put it that way. Everything dried while I went to finish up the wood fruit. The wood on these is really in nice shape, and they're in decent shape overall. They just kinda needed a little glow up. These aren't going in Mister CCDIY's office. I mean, unless he wants one or two of them, but I'm planning to use these for staging. I scuffed with a fine grit, wiped the dust, added a tiny dot of feed and wax to a brush, brushed it on, and buffed the excess immediately with a soft microfiber rag. Howard worked like a charm on all 6 of these. That meant I only had one thing left to complete. I want these photos well attached, but not as permanent per se as the first time. I opted not to use liquid glue to attach them either. Instead, I used double-sided tape. While I get the rest of these on, let me take a second to thank anyone who watched to this point, everyone at my premiere today, hello, and the usual 100 out of my 3,300 subscribers that show up and watch my content every time. All of you are the flippin' best. Thank you so much. Before and afters are next, so that's all I've got for work today. Thanks for being here and watching. Later, peeps.